All right, everyone. Been watching YouTube for a long time, and I've decided to start making videos. I posted like 2 videos in the past, so this is kind of my or whatever you want to call it, endeavor into YouTube. I found I have a passion for 4-wheelers. I have quite a few of them. I enjoy working on things, fixing them and whatnot. So I'm gonna start making YouTube videos on that. I see a lot of other guys that have done it. Recently been watching a channel called 2 Vintage. So he's kind of inspired me to start making videos. But right now, I just bought this 4-wheeler. It's a 2001 Sportsman 500 HO. And the guy I bought it from said he had his buddy working on it who was supposedly a small engine repair guy. Let me turn my notifications off. Or my ringer. But he said he was a small engine repair guy. Now I've found so many things wrong with this thing that this previous guy did, or maybe even the guy before him, that I don't understand how he works on anything. So first, when I got it, it didn't have any spark. So pulled the spark plug out, checked it against the engine with cranking over just to see, and definitely didn't have any spark. So I started looking at the CDI, took all the front plastics off, not all the plastics, as you can maybe tell, but took the front cover off where the CDI and the coil is and everything, and realized the guy had ordered the cheapest possible CDI box he could on Amazon, which is not even the right one. The description says it's the right one, and I know this because I went on Amazon to try to find it and see if there was some kind of wiring you had to do or something to get it to work on this, and there was nothing. So I bought a CDI, and I know why the guy did it, because the one on Amazon was like $30, and the right CDI box for this is $157 I paid for it from, I think it was called Rick's Stator. Selling it on Amazon, but supposedly it's a name brand sort of aftermarket Stator company. Bought that, got it running with the black wire from the CDI unplugged, which that controls the your kill switches and everything. So if you turn your key off, or you have the kill switch in the off position, it'll ground it out so your CDI won't send spark to the spark plug. So figured out after that it was a short in the speedometer. The brown wire going to the speedometer and a bunch of other wires were shorted together. So it's something wrong internally with the speedometer, which is, I'm guessing, what the first person who sold it to the guy I bought it from found, and realized the speedometer was $470. So yeah. After that, got a speedometer, got it running, went to ride it around my property here, and just died. Lost spark again. So I was kind of puzzled as to why. Started checking the resistance and everything on the stator coil and all that stuff, and realized the I think they call it the coil charge or capacitor charge wire or something like that. CDI, something like that. CDI charge wire going to the CDI was open. It was open loop. So pulled this cover off that I'm working on right now. Pulled the flywheel off with not the right puller, but got it to work. And found that the guy hadn't even routed the wires right inside the stator. So the stator wires were just rubbing on the on the flywheel and basically cut them in half. So I rerouted the wires. I'll show you guys. So the stator wires the guy had running down here. You can maybe see it, but he had it running down here, rubbing on the back of the flywheel right here. So it cut those charge wires in half. So I just took and stuffed the wires up through there, and looks like it's out of the way of everything, so hopefully that'll work. But anyway, just wanted to show you guys working on this. Breaking off the gasket right now. I'm gonna try to get most of it off. I got all of it off the cover, but most of it off the engine. And once I do that, I'll get back with you guys. All right. So I'm gonna put this back together with some Permatex, the right stuff. Another channel I watch is No Nonsense, No How. The guy swears by this stuff. So, guy seems like a very knowledgeable person. Which I kind of wanted to talk about why my channel is called Amateur Mechanicking. I did have a small amount of experience as a mechanic with a Caterpillar dealership in my area. But with COVID and everything that happened, started getting slow on work, so I got furloughed as a mechanic. When I came back, the only thing they had for me to do was working in the parts department, which is basically where I stayed for about a year. Had the opportunity to go back in the shop, but kept getting pulled back in the parts department because they were short-handed there. So I decided to just stay there. So I don't have much real mechanic experience, but kind of why I want to start making YouTube videos. I basically grew up watching, mechanic videos on YouTube. And that's what started my passion for it, and that's why I like doing this type of stuff. And, a lot of my knowledge, mechanical knowledge, has actually come from YouTube, not from any experience or any type of trade school or anything like that. But I'm definitely very much an amateur. I have enough sense to try to sit down and figure stuff out and learn how to do it before I try to tackle something and mess it up. I definitely try to research and whatnot before I go out and, do anything really, mechanical wise. But like I said, I have extensive YouTube research knowledge, and I kind of wanted to start a channel to sort of spread what I know and what I've learned over the years, and kind of help anybody out that needs help or is whatever, interested in wrenching on stuff and anything like that. So if you guys see me messing something up, or I could do something better or whatever, just let me know. And, I'm happy to take advice as long as it makes sense, So this did have a paper gasket on it, but it was all messed up and it really wasn't doing much. You know, of course, there's no oil or anything behind this. This seal is basically just to keep dust out of the stator and flywheel area. Make sure it doesn't get messed up as best as possible. So I'm gonna put this back on right now. I'm gonna keep you guys with me here. The recoil was missing when I first took this off. It's actually the first thing I did when I went to go look at this is pulling this handle, and it was just that came out. So I'm not gonna bother reinstalling that. The guy put a brand new starter on it, which actually looks to be installed correctly. And I'm just gonna leave it like that. I am planning on selling this. I'm sort of trying to trade my way up to a side-by-side or maybe like a nice dirt bike or something for myself. But I am sort of wanting to try to do this as a side business. You know, something like I said, I'm kind of decent at and want to be able to learn, but also possibly try to make some money at the same time. I'm hoping maybe eventually I'd be able to start my own repair business, but that's way, way in the future. If it even happens, you know. So I'd just be working on ATVs and everything. ATVs, dirt bikes, and maybe jet skis. There was actually a place that was right down the road. They used to be open. And that's all it was ATVs, dirt bikes, motorcycles. I think he did motorcycles, you know, on-road motorcycles, which I'd probably get into too. And jet skis, I think. And the guy was always packed. Always had tons and tons and tons of everything in front of his place. And the guy retired not too long ago. Retired, sold the business, whatever. And now it's a CrossFit place. So I'm thinking there's definitely a lack of ATV repair shops in my area. And I live out in the sticks. Not totally in the sticks. You know, there's a grocery store like not that far away. But I live out where people have a lot of land and there's farmers and, you know, people are going to have dirt bikes, ATVs, stuff like that need to get fixed. And a lake, you know, pretty large lake is 5 minutes away. So there's definitely a need for it in my area. But like I said, I don't have the experience to just go out and start working on people's stuff confidently. You know, of course that gets expensive. You mess somebody's engine up, you know, it's not going to be good if you trash their engine, you whatever, get the timing off or something, and you end up crashing a piston to a head you just rebuilt or replaced. That wouldn't be good. So I'm trying to find stuff I can work on cheap and then just sell to break even on, or hopefully make a little money, you know, but mostly just to break even on, so that way I can get experience basically for free. And if whatever I make on it covers the cost of some tools and whatnot I might need, it'd be great. So let me get these bolts tightened up and I'll show you guys, see if this thing starts. All right, got that bottom bolt in. That thing's a pain, but you guys have never seen one of these before. This thing is super handy for putting bolts in where you can't reach with your fingers. So I got this off the Snap-on truck from work, but sure you can find cheaper versions of Harbor Freight or whatever, but this thing is super handy. One of my guys I used to work with, his had like a light in the end of it. It was pretty neat. Or it might have been, actually, no, it was a magnet. But definitely a handy tool to have. This is just on the lowest setting. Like I said, it's not a, there's no oil behind this cover, so it's not super important to tighten these down in any certain pattern or anything. You know, normally if you had like some oil behind it, you want to do it like an X, just to make sure you're squeezing the just to make sure you're getting an even, you know, torque over this. Make sure you're not squeezing the gasket in a certain place or pinching it. So if you should like I said, I'm just trying to. I don't even know who this would be for. People who are interested in ATVs, or maybe people are having spark problems with their Sportsman. But hope somebody will enjoy my content. I'm not going to have any kind of set uploading schedule or anything right now. If you guys seem interested in this type of stuff, then, you know, maybe in the future we'll I'll make like a uploading schedule. But for right now, it's just going to be whenever I can make a video or whenever I have something to work on. I do have a few other ATVs of my girlfriend's dad's, and one of them's hers. So, my girlfriend's, hers actually, somebody crashed into a tree. So I bought one of those plastic welders. I'm going to show you guys that in another video. But I bought one of those plastic welders that basically puts, you know, it kind of melts a staple type deal into the plastic, and holds it together, you know, fix cracks in it and stuff. I've seen videos, sorry guys, I know I'm not great at video yet, but I hope to get better at that. But another guy I used to watch on YouTube, Tom Martin. I don't know if anybody ever watched that guy, but basically the guy would get, you know, he would partake in some activities, and he had all these old Honda ATC three-wheelers and dirt bikes and stuff, and they would go swamp them in a creek and look like a really good time. That guy I actually watched when I was really young. He was the one that really started me into dirt bikes and ATVs and all that kind of stuff. I really enjoyed watching that guy. I looked on his channel. I haven't watched him in a while, but I did look on his channel recently, and there was he wasn't uploading as much as he had been in the past. So I believe he had some life stuff going on, you know. But Tom Martin, if anybody ever watched him, that that was some great content. I remember laughing so hard, that stuff. But anyway, I'm gonna get this stuff put on. These are just the shift linkages right here, and we'll get this thing fired up. Hopefully. That should have been the problem. I mean, it should have been. I was thinking I was going to have to get another stator for it. Super worried. But I'm really, really glad it ended up being just that. You know, I just got butt connectors and connected the wires together that were cut through by the flywheel. So that should be all that was wrong. It's late now, so I might just start it up. I don't think I'm going to go for a ride, but I could. That's, like I said, I was on the test ride when that happened. What do you guys think about Polaris? A lot of people really hate on Polaris for some reason, but I think they are one of the most comfortable riding vehicles, off-road vehicles you could buy, as far as their ATVs go. Now, I've never ridden a Can-Am. People say those things are superior or whatever to just about everything, but I've never ridden one. But my Polaris, I had a 2023 Sportsman 570, and I loved that thing. Around my area, we have the Hatfield-McCoy trails in West Virginia, and we used to ride there. That thing was like riding on a cloud. But I had a Honda before that, a Honda Rubicon 500, and that thing was, I mean, it was a very nice ATV, but it did not ride as well as that Sportsman did. I don't know if that's anybody else's experience, but that was definitely mine. But of course, Honda's, very reliable and whatnot, like everybody says. So. Anyway, let me finish bolting everything back up. I had the coil disconnected because I was testing that, making sure that was still good and didn't magically give out. And got to put the spark plug cap back on the wire because I was testing that too. So let me get that stuff done and I'll get back with you guys. It was a pain trying to get it on. So, and the right hole, yes. Come on. What the crap? What is going on here? Come on. Is that it? So hard to tell. There's no boot around it to guide it down the outside of the hole. So you've got to kind of center yourself without even being able to see anything. Definitely, if that's how it's supposed to look, that's definitely not a good design. Which I'm thinking it is. But it also, well, it could be missing a rubber boot on it. Because I'm thinking, now that I'm thinking about it, I think the pictures I've seen when I was looking up coils to see how much they were, just in case, it had like a rubber boot around it. But we're going to slap this one on and hope it works. I could get my hand in here just a little bit better. Probably going to rip the wire out of the coil. I'm struggling so bad with this. See, this should be so easy. But it's just... There we go. Alright. Let's see here, everybody. There it is. Thing runs excellent, actually. All right. All right, I'm gonna re-zip tie all of this stuff up. I had it up here nice and neat before I went on my disaster of a test ride. So it's always important to try to do this. Not only does it look good if you're trying to sell something, you know, just in case somebody takes this plastic off, which they probably won't because you'd have to unbolt the rack and everything to get it out. But you just want to try to go back the best you can. It also prevents wires getting rubbed on stuff, and you know. Maybe I shouldn't be giving too much advice in these videos because I barely know what I'm doing, but you know, take my advice with a grain of salt. How about that? Come on. See, I had this zip tie in here. Super nice. Let me try to do this. There we go. Alright, start this zip tie. Stick this. Should I have it? Yeah, I should probably do it up. Put it up through there. Get that on there nice and tight. Okay. Zip tie these. Zip tie them up to this. Actually, let's just zip tie it all together. Why not? Try to keep it up off that radiator. What should I do with that? This I don't care about. I think that's a solenoid for this winch. The winch came with no cable on it. The guy said it was bad, so he just cut it off of there. I would rather had a bad cable on there. You know. But maybe that's just me. The other thing that's going on with this speedometer isn't working, so I'll probably make that a separate video, see if I can figure that out. Wish I could go under. There we go. All right. All right. Oh, it's kind of pulling. Here we go. I don't want it to pull too much on that. Okay. All right. That's gonna be it for this video. Let me start it up for you guys one more time. This thing runs so good. I had to clean the carburetor on it, but after I did that, it's phenomenal. It doesn't smoke at all. Like I said, I had to replace the speedometer. The previous speedometer showed 3,500 miles and 450 hours, I think, on it. So it's a little up there, but definitely not for this thing. It runs amazing. Starts right up. Has that rattle from a broken exhaust heat shield on the other side there where I was working previously, but the thing runs fantastic. I think this thing looks cool, really cool too, with these bumpers on it. So I'm gonna make another video putting all the plastics and everything back on. We'll go for a ride. But yeah. Let me know anything I can do better. And appreciate you guys watching. And thank you very much.